All right, everyone. So today is a special episode. I have my good friend Steve and his amazing wife Julie. And Steve and Julie Wagstaff are from Swagability Studios, and they do some amazing things. So I can't wait for us to hear about their story, and they can share everything with you. So first off, can you guys share the founding story of Swagability? Swagability?
Absolutely. Before we do that, though, thanks for taking some time to fit us on your podcast. We're avid watchers and follow what you've been doing. And so thanks for getting us on the Infinite Abilities podcast. Uh,
Of course.
it's something we followed for a while. Swagability was born out of a 7-month hospital stay for me back in 2023. And I didn't know at that time if I was going to be coming out of hospital. I was a pretty sick man, and I was trying to think what my legacy would be left if I left this earth. What kind of legacy would I be leaving my wife and those that were coming behind me? And I had the idea that I've been in a chair for 30 years now as a quadriplegic, and I've stayed well plugged in with um, a lot of physios, doctors, uh, occupational therapists, um, and just other people that are in chairs and things. And I thought um, we've got the experience to offer the next person that goes through a major trauma or an illness, and based on our backgrounds as well, we've
Mhm.
we've gone through a lot of rough things in life, and based on that, we thought maybe we could open ourselves up to offering hope to the world, and especially those that are going through trying times. And so we feel God's leading us into an area where we just want to um, help people. And so my name's Steve, obviously, and Wagstaff is the last name, and um, swag was always what I was called when playing sports and things. So swagability seemed to be a cool name, and
Mhm.
we've just run with it, and it's been a great little start for us.
I love that, and I love your mission. You're really trying to help people, and you're taking your own experiences to help others, and that's what this is all about. So thank you for that. And what does swagability mean to you guys?
To me, swagability is means hope. If I could put a definition to the word swagability in the dictionary, it would be hope, because we live in a dark world that there's a lot of struggle going on. And so,
Mhm.
through a biblical worldview and a faith based approach, we hope to offer um, just encouragement through podcasts, through the different guests we'll have on our show, through offering the adaptive aids, the financial assistant, the life coaching, and the online community. I think swagability, if we could again put it in the dictionary, the only word it would have would be hope, and maybe add the word encouragement
Yeah,
to it as
that's
well.
what I was going to say.
Julie, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. Like I said, the encouragement was the other word that came to my mind. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I think that's what's in us. Like we've always had that desire, regardless of what's been going on, is to try and help and encourage those that are around us, or maybe those that have watched us go through different things. That's our one hope, is that somehow we would be able to help or encourage others along the way.
Hmm. I like that. And then, how does your personal story as an interabled couple influence the mission and vision of Swagability?
I think it gives us a unique ability to offer um, offer hope, encouragement, information, opinions, because um, we we live it as an able-bodied individual, and then me with a different ability or disabilities, what the world would call it. So um, I think it gives us a unique view to be able to just be honest about her feelings about how things go in life, my feelings about how things go in life, and be able to offer both sides of the story to people.
Yeah, to have the two different perspectives, but to be able to share that on the same platform. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I think there's always both sides. I mean, if you have, usually when you have someone with a disability, you have a caregiver, whether it's um, family, friends. Um, so
Hired.
the two always seem to come together, and so it's nice that we can offer both sides of those as well, not just one point of view. Or
In a real in a real honest way.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the world needs to see, is that it's okay to talk about brokenness. It's okay to talk about frustration. It's okay to talk about the the stuff that we kind of sweep behind and pretend everything's okay, but that's not what we're about. We're about uh, just being real with
Mm-hmm.
people, offering hope that we've found, and hopefully giving hope um, from the the my mentors always said, from the deepest valleys comes the richest soil, and I think that's going to be one of the main themes of just offering people that are going through real rough times to know that um, we've been through many of them in every shape, size, and form. Um, but together, we come out of them. We can come out of them better people for it, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a big part of how we help people.
Yep, I think so too. I think so too. And what role does faith play in the work of Swagability?
that's our. I think that's what's backing us every
Mm-hmm.
minute of our lives. Our faith and our belief in um, the one true God. He has constantly, whether we have known it, felt it, depending on what the struggle has been, or our best of days, he has constantly been our refuge and our rock and the sustaining power that's got us through each and every day. And so that's what gets us through every day, and that's what we want to. It's who we are. It's part of us. So it's hard to separate the
Mhm.
two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
We don't have swagability. We don't have answers to provide without the hope that we've been given.
yeah,
Like we don't have this platform, we don't have this ministry, we don't have this organization without um, having faith being the underpinning of everything we do, because that's where true healing really comes from. um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I may not walk ever again on this side of the clouds, but I have a hope that um, not a hope that is like, oh, it might happen. I have a secured knowledge of the fact that one day um, I will walk again, and that's where true healing happens. But to deal with it on this side of the earth, um, you can try every which way to do it yourself, but until you until you actually surrender your life to God and allow Him to fill up the deepest hurts, then you'll run from one thing to the next trying to find hope, and it'll always be empty. And we've done it. We're not two couple that have made it through everything because we're super spiritual.
No.
We've tried it many times to fix it ourselves, and often um, it's caused hardship. But when we've turned it over to God and um, kind of followed what His Word is, we've come through it much better. We've always said too that when you're in the middle of a storm and you can't see how it's going to turn out ahead of you, you don't know what to do in the present. Um, you look behind you and you always see the faithfulness. We always see the faithfulness of God in our lives and how it turned out. And that gives us confidence that in the present and the future, we leave it in His hands, and it will turn out to be the best for us.
Hmm. And I know for me, I've experienced a lot of amazing things since I started following God again, and it's just incredible how helpful it is for
Amen.
everyday living. You know,
Amen.
you
Amen.
know the Bible has got the answer. You know, you just gotta put your faith in God, and it's truly amazing. And what specific gaps in services for individuals with disabilities and their caregivers do you aim to fill?
Well, I hope to um, obviously do the caregiver side, and I just know for my own experience over the last number of years, um, there there has been a loneliness at times because you feel that you don't have um, people you can turn to that maybe are experiencing the same thing and questions. And so I think that's part of where I really want to go is to establish a community, um, a place where people can ask questions and, um, how did you deal with this situation? And is it wrong if I have these feelings? Like just
Mhm.
the simple questions that we sometimes don't even think about, or you wouldn't um, even those that aren't caregivers to have someone ask us those questions. You usually just it can feel like people don't understand, and so that's the biggest um, part that I want to establish. And um, I am still learning. Like it really has just been in the last year and a half that I found out what caregiver burnout is. I never even knew it existed, and so
Mhm.
I'm learning, and so I want to learn along with other people. So my goal is to get some people on to interview that have been other caregivers that, okay, you've been doing this for a number of years. What are some tips that you could share with others? Or how have your experiences changed your life? I'm looking for help. I want to learn. So I feel like it's going to be, I want it to be a journey that we can learn together, um, and even have it go beyond that. Family and friends of caregivers can also be learning.
Mhm.
How can I help? My sister or my parents or whoever is a caregiver. How can I come alongside them and give them a hand to give them a break or to help with what's going on? Um, so yeah, that's for me. That's where my mind's kind of going, and I
Uh,
hope, yeah.
we've joined some Facebook groups for caregivers, and we've just watched been a fly on the wall to try and see. And there's just heartbreaking stories of family that are fighting because someone needs to take care of someone else, and someone's
Mhm.
not putting in their time. And it's an epidemic right now of caregiver burnout. Um, And so I don't think it's talked about enough. The other gap that we hope to fill is a couple of them encouragement. We live in a discouraging world where all news seems to be negative, and we want to bring interviews on for guests that have seen amazing things go on in their lives, and be able to give people hope that way. Um, and then adaptive aids are something that are very new to the market. My clothing is all adaptive clothing, whether they're magnetic buttons and shoes that look like laces, and um, there's anything from adaptive clothing to uh, there's so many other adaptive aids that I don't think people know that are
Hmm.
out there. So I think there's a real gap in the market of knowledge of what can be helpful. And so we hope to, not hope to, we'll be bringing those sort of things before people to try and get it into the hands of people, and somehow financially, if we can, um, raise enough donors to be able to um, somehow be able to make people's lives a little easier by offering them a number of different things. So
Hmm.
it's going to be uh, an organization, but a real ministry that entails a lot of different things that I do think there's a real gap in the market that I hadn't seen covered in 30 years. That
Hmm.
if it's not covered, we thought, well, maybe we can be a voice that speaks into that darkness.
Yeah, and I think that's all awesome because I know there's a giant gap in the market. Because, like, for me, you know, I have cerebral palsy. I've had it for 33 years.
Mm.
I'd never seen a button-up shirt with magnets until about 2 years ago. And as soon as I seen it, I was like, well, I'm ordering those because I love wearing button-up shirts. And I rarely did because I always needed somebody to help me button them.
Mm.
So, yeah, it was just like,
Independence.
yeah, it's so nice. And then I also did find a little tool for buttons on Amazon. So I bought that too. So now I can actually do a button-up shirt, which is I was so excited. just
People don't.
it's the little things
Yeah.
that
That's
gets us
exactly
excited.
the little things that give people some dignity, some independence.
Hmm.
Uh, that that goes a long way to how someone can feel about themselves, whether it's how they look and how they're dressing. Um, any bit of encouragement that can give someone a little bit of a confidence is a
Hmm.
win for us on any day. So
Yeah,
that's our goal.
and I like to look good. So let's help everybody look good.
Absolutely. Look good and be able to function in a
Hmm.
way that is i- any less stress on themselves or their caregiver. That's our goal.
Yeah.
Look good and be able to not waste energy if there's a better way of doing something. So
I think we gotta come up with a slogan for that. We'll talk about that later.
absolutely on the Nick and Steve show.
There we go. There we go. All right. So, what are the biggest challenges that Swagability has faced, and how have you overcame them?
I, I think the biggest one was the biggest obstacle I faced was that I tried to run ahead of this with an idea for myself without ever I've been in ministry all of my life as a pastor, and so trying to switch to a mindset of trying to run it as a business and trying to do everything on my own, um,
Hmm.
and I just ran out of energy. I was frustrated. um, I didn't see us helping anybody, and so the biggest problem was me being a workaholic doing it. So this time round, we hit the refresh button and we
Hmm.
stepped back for a number of months, um, and then God saw fit to give us our YouTube channel back that had been taken for, got an apology from them for taking it by mistake. And so that was given back to us. And so we're now approaching it with a oneness between us and also with the leading of the Lord. So, um, and I think some of the obstacles we face right now is our financial ones, um, with the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar being uh, quite a difference. Um, we're shouldering all the costs of getting this up and running up into this point, and it's been really hard financially, and we've had to stop. We're trying to get our charitable number. We're at a nonprofit state right now in both Canada and the U.S., which was a great accomplishment. We're proud of that, but now we're looking to find donors that will get behind us and say this is something that we think is valuable, and lend uh, lend financially and support us that way, so we can um, reach the market that we want to. We truly believe that we have a message and the product and the mission to reach a lot of people, but it's going to take some volunteers. It's going to take some energy, and it's going to take some finances. And right now, those are some big obstacles that we're trying to overcome. But we know that if God's in it, it will succeed. But He also expects people to help shoulder the load as well. So we hope we can get some givers and get some support coming in monthly.
Yeah, I know you will, because now you guys aren't doing it alone. You have people behind you, people supporting you. So this is going to be where it all happens, and I can't wait to be a part of it.
We're excited too, and just to have, yeah, your years of experience and your business expertise as a 10x coach. I mean, all that kind of stuff to be able to lean on people like yourself and
Mhm.
Kyle and the team at Podcast Launch AI. We've got a real partnership that I think is going to be super valuable heading forward. And we've got global ambitions, and I think I think God blesses big thinkers, and so we're
Mhm.
hoping to we're hoping that that's where our footprint ends up eventually. But
Oh yeah,
it's
it
going
will.
to come with the support of God's people and people that just support the idea of um, from the richest, deepest
Mhm.
valleys come the richest soil, and that's the people we want to minister to.
Yeah, and hey, a lot of us we try to go at things alone, and it's not until you get people around you that you really start to make progress on your goals.
True.
So, yep. And what kind of impact has the Swagability Show and the Caregivers Corner podcast had on your audience?
We were talking about that just before we got on the show with you, because we've stepped back from it for a few months. We can't really, I couldn't really give you an accurate answer to say this is how many people we've changed. I do know that um, when the Swagability show or the Swagcast, it's had a couple different names, was going, that connections were big. We were making so many different connections, um, and then taking those connections in our online community and meshing them together with other ladies that are going through issues very similar, and other guys that were having problems or wanted to talk about that, and point them towards our online community. And that's where I think the a lot of good things will come from the connections we make, and then pointing them to our online community. And from there, they not only have us as a resource, they have a whole family of people that whoever joins the quote unquote swag nation will get the help. But because we've been out of it for 6 months or so, kind of doing the business part of it and waiting for God's leading, that we don't have those tangible results yet, but we've
Yep.
seen them in the past, and we have confidence that they'll be there again in the very near future.
And you know what? You want to know what? Every time that I record a podcast or a video, my goal is to help just one person. If it helped one person, I did what I came to do. So,
That's a great point. That's a really great point.
so Julie, with your 30 years of experience as a caregiver, what are some key insights that you share on the caregivers corner?
It's okay to not have it all together.
Yes, that would be the biggest thing. For most of our marriage, that's yes. I felt I had to do everything, and you can't let anyone know that you're struggling. So yes, I've been learning the last couple years that it's okay to to be broken, to feel like you can't do it all. And I think once you establish that and accept it, that's when you realize that you do have support, and then there is that healing as well. So yeah, out of all my years of experience, yes, that would be the biggest thing, is to allow yourself
To accept help.
to accept help, to to know you can't do it all yourself, and to be okay with that. And we've just recently had some home care come in, and so that's been a big change for both of us. So it's something we're going through together, but is having that openness of conversation, to know that, I'm struggling, I can't do it. Because I know we didn't really have those conversations a lot of time. It was, I'm okay, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And it did, in 2023, there was a breakdown in our marriage because of burnout and me not feeling like I could express that to Steve. And so I think even from that perspective, maybe being able to speak into interabled marriages through as caregiver, even something like that. These are just things we've learned along the way and are still learning.
I think one of the things we'd like to do is to, we've discussed it, is to partner with some agencies that are out there to give that individual that has come up against a wall and just says, I don't know how to do this anymore. I don't want to have ill will towards the person I'm caring for, and vice versa. The person that is receiving the care is afraid to ask for help because they see the burnout. And I'm hoping to either partner with agencies out there or to be able to provide resources, either financially, that can give a break for a month or so people can get that reprieve that they need and see that, wait a second, it's okay to have outside help. And during that time, maybe look for government programs that can help subsidize some care financially for them. And so it can give a family the ability to function as a family, a wife to function as a wife, and have a marriage role as opposed to a caregiver and a disabled person. And so we would really we really think that's, you know, whether you talk about that on Caregivers Corner, but I think the biggest thing is allowing people to voice their frustrations in a safe place and know that there's people that have probably been where you are, and lean on those people for the help that that they can bring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really important. And what you said about giving the caregivers time off. Basically, I think that would help a lot. And I hope not, stepping out of line, but being a caregiver, it can be like having a job, and there's a reason why every job has days off.
Mm.
It's you need that time for yourself, for your own mental healing and your own well-being. So yeah, I think that would be awesome to. I don't think there's anything out there, so I think it's something that we can look into starting and have a way to basically have caregivers that you can rent. Let's
Yeah.
say, you know, like,
Yeah,
something really catchy and something that will be super helpful. I think that would be absolutely incredible.
I,
Yeah, I have had that thought.
yeah. I think what mental health was 10, 12 years ago, where people didn't talk about it, it's
No.
kind of that subject that you had to kind of brave through.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're there, only in a different way. I think we're there with caregivers and and families that aren't having these conversations, but in their heads they're just ready to explode because they can't shoulder the load anymore. The person that's receiving care knows it, but doesn't have another way out because they need the help. And
Mm-hmm.
I,
There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of
yeah,
that they
on
carry
both
because
sides,
yeah.
Yeah.
both sides of guilt,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to ask again because I know you're frustrated, and
Mm-hmm.
guilt on that end because I shouldn't feel that way towards the person I'm caring. I don't want to have hatred
Mm.
towards them, and so I think it's a subject that needs to be talked about more and have light shed on it. And I think we need to offer resources and partner with some agencies out there,
Mm-hmm.
and find some government programs that can help these people to get back to loving one another and being families and
Yeah.
having a great relationship again, um, without that guilt or that anger.
And you've got me looking back on my childhood. My mom, for the first few years, she was a single mother of a child with cerebral palsy. So I don't know how she did it. She's only 5'7", and she would carry me and my wheelchair up and down stairs all the time, and it was just like, looking back now, it's like, Mom, how did you do that? And I feel bad now because her back is not very good anymore, but she's working through it. But looking back at all the times that I didn't bother her because I felt bad because she was already doing so much.
Yeah,
So then you just suffer, and I don't know. I see exactly what you're talking about, and I can see all the times that my mom got very frustrated with me, and it wasn't really at me. It was just she was tired. You
Yeah.
know.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a situation
Mm-hmm.
It's real.
and mhm.
It is very, very real. So, how does Swagability combine practical solutions with spiritual support for its community?
Well, I think the two go hand in hand. I think the misconception that people have is that spirituality is something that's separate that just happens on a Sunday or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I think everything that we do practically is learned or should be learned from the worldview or the biblical foundation of instruction from God's word.
Mm-hmm.
If I think we gave more attention to God's instruction manual, um, those things that we do practically and try to do on our own and often fail, um, would be much more successful. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think the practical outworking of anything we do. We want it to be biblical but spiritually led, and again, that comes from a worldview of being in Christ and accepting of what He's done to you and done for you. And when you have that as the bedrock of everything you do, the guiding of the Holy Spirit it's just, it becomes natural as opposed to something that's mechanical. And that's what the underpinning of Swagability is what God can do in a life that is changed and surrendered to Him. And so we think, along with lending help, financial aid, mobility equipment, the whole bit, the real goal for us is to introduce people to Jesus Christ and to the difference He makes in a person's life. And so that's how I think the two mesh together for us, and how we'd love to see it for others.
Amen. Amen. And how do you measure the success and impact of Swagability?
I hope eternity. I hope this. I hope Swagability outlives Steve Wagstaff, and
Legacy.
I hope it can be measured in eternity. I hope people will say, "Oh, I applied for finances, but when I applied for some financial help, or when I applied to get some medical aid, or when I applied to get some caregiver information, there I was introduced to the gospel for the first time, and there I turned my life over to Christ." And I hope eternity bears out to be the success story. But I don't want to be so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good. I'd I'd like to measure it in also seeing the organization grow, to be able to financially support itself, to be able to financially help numbers of people, to see reviews online about how Swagability is doing, and just to see it spread from a little office studio in Eastern Canada, New Brunswick, but see it have a North American wide footprint. And so I would measure that as success as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And going off of that, how do you envision Swagability growing and evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
Swag apparel being sold.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'll offer scholarships. Maybe we sign a partnership deal with someone. Maybe someone picks up one of our podcasts, and we get on other podcasts. Trying to think. Right now, I'm trying to get our. That's right. We're being honest. Right now, we're trying to get our charitable number. We're nonprofit status and looking for givers, but yeah, success would be seeing a lot of people help, but yeah, partnerships in the future comes, but we do have big dreams. I'm a big dreamer, and I think there's going to be other things that are going to come out of this that haven't crossed my mind yet, or Julie's mind, or maybe even your mind, or others who are going to partner with us and become part of this movement, which I hope does become a movement that we just haven't thought about yet, that others can speak into and say, I have an idea, or I have the resources to do this, and we see it grow and spin off from there. And that excites me, that I hold Swagability with loose hands, hoping that there's others out there that can add value to what Julie and I are doing. And so we're open to those conversations, and we're open to those individuals that have maybe walked down the road a little bit further than we have, and we want to learn from them as well.
Mhm.
You're right. If you don't have a goal, you're wandering around. So
Yep.
we have loose goals, but to set specific targets, I
Mhm.
think makes a lot of good sense. So for a
Yeah.
guy that's gone through 10x Grant Cardone education, I'm sure he can lend to people that have spent their whole lives in ministry and not in business. We can certainly
Mhm.
use the help. So we're
I,
we're hoping to be
I'm
10x.
always here for you. Always.
Appreciate that. We really do.
Of course.
We look forward to continuing the relationship with the Infinite Abilities crew and also the podcast launch crew. So
Well,
getting it
I
something
already
good.
told you that you stuck with me, so you better get used
That's
to
right.
it.
Maybe it'll be the I said that the Nick and Steve show, jumping out
Yeah,
of airplanes. Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know. I had a few people comment about that.
Did they?
Me and you jumped out in an airplane together. I think we gotta do it. We gotta
Uh,
do it.
if there's people out there that want, you know what? Maybe we should leave that as a financial target.
There we
If
go.
we hit this financial target of whatever, I was thinking about our slogan is "Thrive where life finds you." So to start a some sort of slogan that we're looking for, you know, givers that can give five to help us thrive. So maybe there's $5 givers out there, and we can find 100,000 of them, or
Hmm.
whatever. And so if it takes five to thrive, let's find people that are willing to donate $5 a month to the cause, or more. But say we hit 100,000, then Nick and I fall out of an airplane together.
Don't think there's much thriving doing that, but
No, well, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great.
I think we'll
We'll
feel very alive at the moment.
We would, as long as the parachute opens.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm open for that.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
am. I say it now, but with great hesitation. But if we reached that whatever $100,000 mark, where we were able to have a fully functioning charitable organization operating on both sides of the border, then
Mhm.
I'm glad to continue this continue this conversation of us falling out of a plane to try and help encourage giving. So let's start this right now as a pledge that look, you give to Swagability, and we'll make sure that Steve and Nick get pushed out of a plane together with a parachute.
All right, let's do it. I'm down. Let's
All
do it.
right, I'm in too.
Awesome. Now let's get back to it. What strategies does Swagability use to address the economic challenges faced by individuals with disabilities and their caregivers?
Well, we certainly know it's expensive. And if you don't
Hmm.
have insurance coverage, anyone with a disability knows that um, yeah, if it's got some sort of um, aid that's going to help a person with an individual, i.e., a wheelchair or whatever else, that the cost of it is going to be astronomical. There's no way I should be sitting in a $30,000
It's
wheelchair.
ridiculous. Hmm.
That doesn't cost that much.
No.
And so our hope is to find those individuals that don't have the coverage, that don't have the medical coverage from their work, that their finances, um, because of it, their job don't reach a certain threshold, and to have an application available where they can apply to the foundation,
Hmm.
and from there we can look at getting them that caregiver help, or that mobility aid they need for transportation, or uh, that ramp they need built, things like that, that we can provide those resources to help them out, because thing, inflation's a real thing. Um, Single moms, people going through a rough time financially, and the last thing we want to see is individuals suffer because they don't have the ability or the resources to get what we're talking about. So we hope that we'll be able to raise enough funds to not only have us jump out of a plane, but to have that financial aid available
Mm-hmm.
to give out to individuals that qualify.
Mm-hmm. Something that I thought about too is having like a used equipment store,
Mm.
because I think that's very helpful. It's
Mhm.
it's hard to find used wheelchairs and all that. I know I still have the electric wheelchair that I used, and it's just sitting in the shed. Now I am gonna fix it. It needs a battery, and then I'm going to give it away. I'm gonna do something on social media where I create a group or something for people in need, and then choose somebody from that really needs it.
We're in the
But,
same boat. I have a brand new
Yeah.
power chair that came with the van we purchased
mm,
because I needed hand controls, and
mhm,
the van came with a brand new power chair. A gentleman had passed away, and it was just sitting in the van, and the lady didn't know what to do with it.
mhm,
And because of that, we have a brand new Permobil $30,000 wheelchair with all the bells and whistles that uh, needs to find a home as well. So I
mhm,
think being able to, and whether that's an online community as well, where there's those aids that are available that we can get into the hands of other people.
mhm,
Maybe that's a spin off of another thing we haven't thought of yet, but certainly something that we could look at doing.
mhm.
Yeah. So there's
I,
not not that I have seen, but I because I was just looking the other day um, for used wheelchairs, thinking where could we put ours, and there's nothing online that I can find. So
mhm.
so something like that would be, I think, that
Incredibly
would be a
helpful.
good asset. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Mhm.
And it's just like you know, I've been in in the garbage industry for well 18 years now, and I feel old when I say that. And the amount of equipment that I've seen people just toss,
Mhm.
and it's just like, somebody, can you use this? You
Yeah.
know, I have kept a couple wheelchairs and walkers, and I don't know where they're at because I lended them to somebody and they never came back. And that's okay because they're using it and that's what matters.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if we could provide somewhere for people to take their old equipment, I think that would be incredible.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, something that I'm going to look into for sure.
Yeah. Great thought. Great thought.
Mhm.
So, how can the listeners get involved with Swagability and support your organization?
It starts with just connecting with us through the different podcasts that we're going to start to have, the interviews we do. Start interacting with us. We're
Mhm.
Hmm.
two people that are opening ourselves up to interaction, questions, and things. And so our webpage, swagability.com, has our information on it, has our contact form on it, on our social media channels. Obviously, you can drop comments. Um, if people want to give and get involved financially, then on our page, there's a donate button or an email where e-transfers can be sent to. And on the U.S. side right now, um, as we have nonprofit status, that um, our charitable number is pending, but when that charitable number comes through, we're legally allowed to give a tax receipt to those people that give to us
Hmm.
already starting now. And so, if people are looking to help get us started financially, which we really could use that help right now. They can go to our webpage and from there find the donate button and make a contribution that way. And coming soon on the Canadian side as well, we'll be able to have our charitable number to be able to give those that want a tax receipt the ability to have that.
Awesome. And that's swag swagability.com.
Correct.
Okay.
Swagability.com or online, YouTube. Just look up Swagability, Swagability Incorporated, Swagability Studios. We've got the market cornered when it comes to Swagability. So just make sure it's just one G, SWAG. You'll find ABILITY, and will pop up. Yeah.
Awesome. You've got the swagability, and I've got infinite abilities.
Yeah.
So
True.
awesome. Is there any other ways that people can support you?
Yeah. If you're watching this and it doesn't apply to you, think about someone in your family or that you know from work that may benefit from some of the things we've talked about, and share our channel and our socials with them, and that would be the biggest compliment that you could give Swagability right now, other than a financial gift, would be to share this with someone who could use those things that we've discussed in the show.
Awesome. Awesome. And what message of hope and encouragement do you want to leave the listeners?
Thrive where life finds you.
I think that says it all. We want people to live life to the fullest. You are an eternal being, but you live once, and you've only got one life down here to live, and yeah, living it to its fullest is something that everyone should wake up in the morning aspiring to do. And if we can somehow help them accomplish that ability to thrive at whatever level of injury, illness, traumatic experience, mental health state, caregiver burnout, whatever that level is, if we can somehow increase their ability to enjoy life a little bit more or do life a little bit easier, then that's the message that Swagability wants. Thrive wherever life finds you.